might be like, why is she holding that book again? Is it because she wrote it and she wants people to buy it? Perhaps. But actually, that's not why today. No, it's not. I cried when I dropped off Amos at school today. I think his teacher was about to cry, myself. And because he has not been wanting to go to school. And it's a problem. He has to go to school. And I swear you have a sixth sense. I used to always think it was a sixth sense, but it's a sixth sense. He has not been wanting to go to school. He doesn't want to go to school. Boys can't go to school. It's against the law. A zillion different reasons. And it's not like it's from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to bed. He is talking about why he can't go to school. And so we had another IEP meeting maybe a week or two ago. Can he go every other day? No. And this is not a good chance to give me suggestions, just to be totally transparent. I don't need suggestions. I'm just talking so people can like understand. And this morning I thought, if there's another mom out there that has experienced the same thing, then I just want them to know they're seen, because it is really hard. And this morning I was thinking about, Amos and I had gotten him out of the car and we were sitting on this concrete bench walking up into school. And there are people coming in late, like we are. And several grandmothers walking through and bringing their kids in. And they're all kids that are, older than younger than Amos. And none of them are crying. None of them are stomping their feet. They're dressed. They have on the right clothes. They're walking into school alone with no problems. And here we are screaming, shouting, hitting himself in the head, sitting on the ground. And I know that sometimes the one grandmother said, "Are you going to school today?" I was like, I know you meant well, but like when someone is that upset, it's not good to talk to them, just FYI. I'm sure they're thinking like somebody needs to jerk a knot at him or somebody needs to do whatever. I'm looking in for a reduced school day for Riley. Well, I have offered to him, like, I'll pick you up at lunch. No. Or if it's like, if it was just one day, that'd be great, but it's not one day. It's like if you said, well, we'll stay home on Wednesday or we'll stay home whatever. Well, then it's, I don't want to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like there's nothing about school that makes it worthwhile to him, except if you're going on an airplane today. Well, we're not Bezos or whatever dummy Musk. I'm looking at his book under these phones. We don't have access to go on an airplane every day. It's not happening. Yeah, he wants to stay home and watch TV, or he wants to travel. Yeah, like my mom, Uncle jerking off. So, I always think like to myself, I had 3 typical children. This was my oldest one, Thomas. So cute. And I didn't have these troubles. So I think that's probably a prideful thing, but it's like you want people to know, like, this has nothing to do with me. I've done this 3 times, and I feel like I did okay. I have 3 children who are doing pretty well in school. Well, the youngest one might not be, but it's because her goal is to own a taco stand in Hawaii, so she's not particularly motivated. But Amos is, an outlier. He's this kind of shooting star that I can't catch. And anyway, so yesterday, I just thought to myself, because we'd had a hard day getting in Monday, today's Wednesday, every day. And I thought, he's grown a lot. I don't know how much he's grown. I guess I could call and see what he weighed last time, but I bet he's grown 4 or 5 inches, and he's probably gained, I don't know, 20 pounds. And I thought maybe he needs more medicine. So he takes a lot of medicine, and we started the medicine journey at, I think he was 5 or 6. And it was life-changing. How about a small reward on a Friday? So I know all these things. Like there's nothing you could say that I haven't considered. So when I say to you, the only way he can go to school happy is if we get on an airline this afternoon, it's because I've offered every other thing you can think of. So I promise I've got it. And that's the thing. When mothers like me are telling you about a problem, I promise you we have spent 8,000 hours thinking of solutions. So there's nothing you're going to add to them. So when you talk to them, you just say, boy, that's hard. That's all you have to say. I enjoy your page, but your political comments are offending Trump supporters. WTF? What are you even talking about? What political comments? I called it this dumb Elon Musk book. So my father-in-law loves Trump. He just finished the Elon Musk book. And you know what he told me? Elon Musk had a child with one of his children. He's crazy. I don't know if that's true. But I live with a Trump supporter, and he thinks Elon Musk is nuts. So if that's offensive to you, then you ought to read the book by Walter Isaacson and see what you think. So shut it. Okay, I'm not having a political conversation. Our boy with ADHD literally gets sick every morning and vomits. He wants to be home so bad. Lynette, you're going to have to ask my father-in-law. So there you go. Oh God. It's, the funny thing is you don't talk politics because I've just decided I'm not talking politics. I have enough strife currently in my life. We have a lot of family things we're juggling. I don't like confrontation. I don't like people being upset. I'm married to someone who is very even, not moody, and I did that for a reason. My children are fairly level-headed, except for Amos currently. And I'm not talking about things, not because I don't have thoughts, but because I don't need to stress myself out. And I will say, if you try to constantly think about things that you have no control over, you're going to make yourself sick. You are going to make yourself sick. And I'm not going to make myself sick. I have an autoimmune disease, and if I get upset, I'll go blind, and I'm not doing it. So if you want to talk about that stuff, get the fuck off this page and go somewhere else. I'm done. Now, pardon my language before 9 a.m. The medicine. So yesterday I sent Amos's psychiatrist, and I didn't know, let me just say this. I didn't know that autism, anxiety, and ADHD are a triplex. And autism and anxiety, they live together. They are best friends. And when the anxiety got under control, because he was not so exhausted from being anxious, the ADHD skyrocketed. And so when we wrote this book, Carrie, Kate, and I wrote this book, Autism Out Loud. And the book is about autism, but it's really about a diagnosis, or maybe building a community, exploring grief. Like, it's about all these other things. But this was a really important chapter to me because this was, no, I can't find it. What the hell? Oh, there it is. Anxiety. We have a chapter on anxiety. We are not doctors, but I'm going to read you a little bit of my part because I think this is important. Because when I got this diagnosis, I went to Barnes and Noble and there was no book. And I bought this nice book about this dad who'd written about his daughter with Down syndrome. And I was like, maybe that's my book. But if I had seen this book, I would have been like, Life with a Child on the Spectrum from Diagnosis to Young Adulthood. I would have been like, that's my book. That's what I need. And I would have gone to the chapter on page 81, medicine. So I would have turned through the chapters and been like, I can tell you what chapters I might have read about exploring grief because I was having a lot of grief at the time. What does the future look like? I likely would have skipped that chapter. Building a community. We should have thought about this before we put these chapters in here. I didn't care about building any community. I started this blog because I was drowning and I needed to save myself. I didn't give a rat's ass about anybody else. I mean, let's be honest. This new normal, I wouldn't have read that one either. Diagnosis Day. Now, I might have read about that one because that was a rough day. Education, I would have read that. A Different Kind of Success. No, I wouldn't have read that either. So I would have read this chapter first, anxiety. In those early years, I blamed autism for almost everything. His lack of speech, the meltdowns that accompanied daily activities like putting on shoes or getting in and out of the car. My mind whirred with all the things I associated with autism. I wondered how we got here. I wondered what to do. I wondered how we would survive. Every day, we encountered things that threw Amos into a tizzy, and we began to retreat. I was forced to hire a sitter to accomplish the most mundane and simplest of tasks. Running errands like going to the grocery store, bank, or picking up a prescription proved to be too much for Amos. I had never noticed how many triggers lurked out in the world. Groups of people and automatic flushers in public bathrooms could cause us to leave a cart full of groceries or a long line. Family outings were particularly difficult because his siblings were also affected. I remember the night a buzzer at a church basketball game wrecked what had once been a predictably easy family outing. We spent all day at, so I'm skipping through. We spent all day at the Center for Autism and Brain Development at Duke, nearly a 3-hour drive from home. This was the place that got us. Friendly faces that didn't blink at the sight of my unkempt 5-year-old, who arrived shoeless. After various formal assessments and questionnaires, I babbled on and on about our struggles with Amos, who played with blocks nearby. The doctor allowed me to continue, and when I paused to take a breath, he spoke gently. What you're talking about is anxiety, not autism. That was Dr. Copeland. And so I go through these topics of medication. I do data. The Anxiety and Depression Association of America says half of children with autism demonstrate clinically elevated measures of anxiety. I talk about what we've done. But when I was fanning through this book, what I wrote helped myself. And I wrote the book. And I was like, mother fricker, we're back to anxiety. We need the medicine changed again. I had no idea. How do I not know? I've been at this for 6 years, this medicine journey, and it changes. And you think you got it, and you don't. So he said, let's go up on the memantine, which is what he takes in the morning, to 15 milliliters. Now, granted, Blue Cross Blue Shield doesn't think that he needs 15 milliliters because Blue Cross Blue Shield is smarter than Dr. Copeland at Duke Autism. But have at it, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I don't even feel like arguing today. I'll pay the difference because fortunately I can for the memantine. And how old was Amos when he got diagnosed? He was 3. So anyway, I we've started the medicine. Now, Dr. Copeland said it'll take 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, 3 or 4 weeks last night, I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I can do this. I can do this. It's one day at a time. He's at school, but then he has these amazing teachers. And so I leave him screaming and crying and laying on the cold pavement. And I go home, and now they're having to handle it, and I hate that. Like, I hate that for them. I'm so thankful for them, but I don't know what to do, because now we have 3 or 4 weeks of hard. My big kids are coming home this weekend. They'll be home all next week. The next week I'm taking my middle son skiing, just the two of us. My oldest son is bringing friends home next weekend. We have this whole other life. My father-in-law lives with us, and then I start this book tour. I'm going to be traveling, and I told his teachers at the last meeting, I mean, they weren't judging me at all, but maybe I'm judging myself, but I was like, I work. And I know some people think what I do is, look silly or whatever, but I've decided in life, whatever you do and you make money doing, it's work. You could dance on a pole, you could pick up leaves, you could paint, you could, teach children in a national park. These are all valuable jobs. And it's a job. And I've written this book, and it was really hard. And I want to sell it. And so I'll be in New York and Chicago and Austin and San Antonio and Miami and Jupiter, Florida and Raleigh, going around. And I'm going to be gone some. And Amos is going to be here going to school. And my husband is going to be juggling him. And it's a lot. And our caregiver. So anyway. That's that. But I got a letter, on a side note, I got a letter from sometimes I just get letters. And this was one of my followers. She's not a subscriber, she says. I think people always feel guilty they're not a subscriber. But I do like having my subscribers and members. But she said, Adrian, from one Salem College grad to another Salem gal. I'm a listener from Morganton. I'm a retired special ed teacher, mom of 3 sons, married to a busy OBGYN, and I've cared for 2 parents in my home. Through your vlog, I've enjoyed hearing your story that I know helps many. So she sent me a present with her friend, Tanya Smith, and said that she had stayed at my in-laws' bed and breakfast, and she really enjoyed them. My mother-in-law died. And so, anyway, she sent me this picture in a book that Tanya Smith wrote. So Tanya Smith wrote this book called I Believe I Can. And Tanya did all the paintings in it. And it's just this, I believe I can conquer the waves because I am courageous. I believe I can create music. I believe I can soar because I'm daring. It's just really an uplifting book, and I like it. And Tanya and Melissa also sent me this. So this morning when I came in teary, I opened up this package. And it's a picture of Amos and I, and we're on the beach. And I look thin in the picture. Thank you, Tanya, for making my arms look thinner than they are. And it looks just like Amos, trying to figure the world out. He's on the beach. And the other 11-year-olds are on boogie boards and surfboards, and they're running, and they're making friends, and they're playing. And Amos isn't, Amos is with me. And after school, Amos isn't at sports. Amos is home. And Amos doesn't do spend the nights. Amos's life it's hard. I have a good friend yesterday, and she said, "Do you think he notices that he's different?" And I said, I really don't. Like, Amos would take all his clothes off and go to school butt naked, wouldn't care. But there's a part of me that wonders if he's this regular 11-year-old boy, like my other two 11-year-old boys. But at 11, they would come in from school, they would run in, they would make themselves a snack, they would throw their crap all over the house, and they would get a basketball or a soccer ball or a Nerf gun, and they would go outside. And they would stay outside until, I don't know, 5:30 or something. So they got all this energy out that they have, just like I'm sure Amos has, but he has no outlet. So then I thought, okay, he doesn't have an outlet. How can I make that happen? It's not that fun to play with me. Anyway, that's one thing that I haven't quite figured out yet, that I might take advice from a few select people is, and we live in a small town, so we're not near a trampoline park or all these fun places. Like if we lived in Jackson Hole, we could feasibly go skiing. We need some sort of activity that he enjoys in the winter. And honest to goodness, well, anyway, when we went to Jackson Hole last year, I thought to myself, he and I could come live out here for January and February, and he could ski and go to school. I mean, that's like where our minds are. Anyway, I'm just trying to get through elementary school. Middle school starts up, and I don't, I believe I can, is what it's called. Can he be homeschooled? I work. Like, I can't homeschool him and work. And granted, I don't have to work. I guess we could sell our house. I could get a different car. We could tell our children no more trips. Like, we make these choices, but like, I like doing those things. I like to go to the beach in the summer. I don't think the benefits, Amos doesn't want to do work. That's a problem. We put a bounce house so we had a bounce house. We did the same thing, Jennifer, but now he's too big. He's almost 12, I mean, I was just thinking this morning, like, should we get another trampoline? But it's cold. Anyway. Yeah, and there's horseback riding that he could do, but that's not like tiring. He needs I really just was thinking, with my other boys, they just got a lot more physical activity. And anyway, no better place than Jackson. Can you take some down days? Yes, and we have worked really hard the last few days, like busted my ass out there cleaning and shoveling and going through stuff in these houses. And Elizabeth, I actually love that. Elizabeth said, can you pay somebody to take him running? I don't think so. Can you have a teacher at home? Oh my God, a teacher at home. No, I can't. Can he jump on a trampoline and watch TV? Okay, Amos ain't jumping on any trampoline watching TV. Amos likes to eat ice cream in the bed and watch TV. Yeah, it is, Elizabeth. I think it's going to have to be a chapter. Autism slothdom. But like my friend Carrie that I wrote the book with, her son Jack is in like a supported living community and does a college program, and like he's skiing, he's doing these fun things. So anyway, indoor swimming pools. So we have an indoor swimming pool, but it's about 40 minutes away. So that's a commitment when you've been at school all day, then to get to the pool. And he does enjoy going, for 30 minutes. So last year we did swim lessons, and Amos has no he's not mean, but he considers fat and the color of your skin and what you have on, those are just all things to talk about. He has no filter of maybe that's inappropriate, he knows ugly words. But we were having a swim lesson, and there was a woman in the pool that was large. I mean, but have at it. I've been large before too. But he can't just make his eyes and walk away. He has to say, "Ooh, it's a sea monster." So you're always kind of cognizant of that stuff. An Easter egg hunt. Now that's not a bad idea. Well, I don't think I can afford a pool in ground and get it heated, because I just got the electric bill and we've had the hot tub. And if the hot tub is $400 a month to heat, I've turned the heat down in it. How did you not die from trying not to laugh? Because the woman was looking at me, and I said, "Oh yeah, you love honor. Knock it. Quiet." It's like, "Oh, you love sea monsters. It is a sea monster." Okay, I'll see you in a minute, subscribers. I'm going over to my subscriber member page. If you want to come over there and join, please do. It's a lot of fun. And if you don't, that's fine. But if you need a place and you are dealing with a lot of this stuff, Autism Out Loud comes out April 1st. You can pre-order it now. We're going to be right many places, meeting and signing books, and hopefully helping some families not feel so alone and get some good advice. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Have a nice Wednesday.